Can you share a moment when you think you surprised yourself with your own strength?
Difficult to limit myself to just one episode,
Okay.
but I'll try my level
You can
best.
give one or two or
Maybe
three
one
also
or
if you
two.
want.
Probably I'll go the same period of our career when my husband had gone for the Operation Parakram. And we were roughly about 132 to 135 ladies and children who were there in the station, who were more or less passively, actively my responsibility.
And there were not too many men in the
Men
station now.
support and administrative support, if you personally ask me, on the scale of 1 to 10, it was 1.
Okay.
They had left a vehicle which was pretty old and had its own willpower, whether it wanted to start or not. And one day, I got a call from one of the family ladies that I am extremely, I'm in pain, and this is my 9th month, and I feel these are contractions.
Okay.
Just to help you visualize the scene, this was 12:30 at night.
Oh.
The military hospital was about 4 kilometers away from her house.
Okay.
12:30 in a place like Jhansi, getting a public transport in 1997 was practically impossible.
Right.
We have to visualize it, because today in this world where you can at beck and call, you have Uber standing in front of your gate.
But army generally well no.
I mean, this doesn't happen. So the best thing I could do was I got my own vehicle out, which is a Maruti 800, and I drove down to her place.
Okay.
I picked her up. I picked up another lady along with her. I said, within 15 minutes, I will drop you.
Okay.
There were no cell phones. Again, visualize.
And this is early morning, 1 o'clock.
1:30 roughly.
Yeah.
No idea whether there was a gynae there or not. Probably expecting at least a nurse or an assistant in the military hospital. And we rushed there. Around 1:30 when we took her in, there was one lady and one ayah. And let me tell you, in such situations, the ayahs are a bigger help because they're more experienced. And she said to us, Mim Saab, sahi time pe laya ho, 15 minutes mein bacha aayega. I started sweating, actually. And there was a chair, I just sat down. Typically, all is well, she's here. If nothing else, I've tried to bring her into a safe environment. Experienced people around. As luck would have it, we were not aware of it. Probably the lady was, and she had twins.
Oh, wow.
What a challenging and difficult moment it was for all of us over there. There was no way in which we could have informed her husband. But there are certain standard protocols that we used to follow. There had to be a diary where she had to mention her parents, oblique her relatives, next of kin numbers. So at 3 o'clock, we called them up.
Okay.
They were in Jharkhand. And they said, कल गाड़ी लेकर आएंगे, 2 दिन में पहुंच जाएंगे.
Okay.
So let me calculate that. About 3 days, she had to be looked after. With, luckily, normal deliveries, twins. The lady had no strength. The infrastructure in the environment in the base hospital was bare minimum. Today, when I think back, the children are grown up. They're studying well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've achieved a lot. That was one example I was thinking. I surprised myself that I could do this. Nobody teaches you, let me tell you. So what have you learned earlier, and how do you carry it forward? You just learn one thing. How do you solve a problem? Do not think that there is a problem. Think about, what can I do about it right now? Calling the parents wouldn't have worked. So she had to be taken. There was no vehicle available. We couldn't have taken her walking.
Right.
It was such a sudden thing. I think it was a 7.5 month or something. I mean, she was not even due. So to be able to drive and take her and put her in that MH in the right time is a great achievement, and I really surprised myself when I could do that. That was one incident I thought. I'm sure, many of them could have done that. But when you do it yourself, you realize, yes, there is that inner strength that helps you. No?
There's also one where your husband had an accident.
Yes.
A major accident.
Oh, yes.
And that the young officer, can you tell us about that?
So my daughter was 2 years old, my elder one, who's now 35. So it's a story which happened way back in 1999. This is where we typically had no army accommodation. So I was living in a house which is way away from my unit or his workplace. Contacting me was a big challenge.
There were no mobiles at that
There were
time.
no mobiles.
There were no phones at that
There was
time.
no
Okay,
phone
fine.
actually. Why mobiles? There was no phone. I had given a number of my neighbors in case of an emergency, contact me on this number, kind of a thing. And they got a call somewhere around 9 in the morning. His buddy Sahayak orderly walked in at 11. साहब का एक्सीडेंट हो गया है, हॉस्पिटल में बेहोश पड़े हैं. Now these two sentences crash you down completely. In a metro city like Delhi, कौन से हॉस्पिटल में पता नहीं. So it begins there. Here we started thinking logically. If the accident has taken place near his office, there are two hospitals which are close by. Let's begin from one. Where do you start from? Emergency, accident cases, head injuries, knee injuries. You're blank. You're carrying a 2-year-old with you. You can't leave her behind. There's nobody around with you. You say, "Zara pata lagana kidhar baitha hai." Communication is a completely blind, completely wild goose chase. And hang on. I said he was in uniform. So it could just be either the nearest because he was unconscious at the moment, at the time this happened. So a quick look over there. While going back, I asked the security man, फौजी गाड़ी थी, किसी को लेके गए थे? 20 minutes back, base hospital लेके गए. And we rushed over there. So this whole thought process, this whole method of thinking in a manner which will take you to a particular destination the earliest. I was surprised how I could do it.
So you kept your emotions to one side and completely logical thinking process say, where could you have gone? And took your daughter along with you, 2 years old.
Arundhati, there is a 2-year-old. She has no clue what is happening. It is your duty to look for your husband because nobody else knows where he is. And if he has to be in a particular place, there are only two places he can be. In what condition? Let me think positively that he's probably in a safe condition and not in a critical condition. As I keep repeating it, wherever I go and whomsoever I speak and talk, even my children for that matter, at that particular moment, conviction in manifestation, as I always say, think about the right, which your mind will never let you do. It'll always make you think about the worst. This is the worst, but then what is the best?
So in the worst, think positive.
Think positive. Yes, that is the worst.
Don't get emotional.
Let it set aside, because if that is the worst, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So you can only do if that's not, that condition is a better condition. Then only you can take the right moves, you can move in, you can take quick action, and you can save somebody's life.
Right.
So that's how one had to think. One had to pick up, one had to, those little things that you don't get an auto rickshaw. You don't have a public transport around. There was a bus which had to go to the base hospital. The bus would have taken 40 minutes. I mean, every step there was a hurdle. And for some reason, I may not, I can't stop thanking God for it. So let's go to the auto hub first. So we took a bus to the auto hub.
Okay.
There's a cycle rickshaw.
Okay. So you didn't have a car, you didn't have a scooter or anything like that. So went from auto to a bus to an auto stand.
I was barely 26, 27.
Okay.
Absolutely new to a station, just 3 months down the line. We just got posted. So no accommodation, as you rightly said. He had been given relatively a challenging task of being the telephone exchange officer who had to work in shifts, every 7-hour shift. So there were times when he wasn't there at home at night. And this exactly happened when he had to leave at 5:30 in the morning for the shift.
Okay.
So those were the challenges. And the moment I came to that thought process and I realized it has to be base hospital. And I reached base hospital. He saw his daughter. He saw his wife. And he says, "Oh yeah, I'm just coming out of the operation theatre soon."
Okay.
I patted my back for that. I had no clue, no idea. When I think back, I feel, Arundhati, you've done a good job. You really surprised yourself.
So that is not to get emotional.
Yes.
think straight even in difficult situations
Easy
is
to
one thing
say
that
though. Easy to say, but that's the only way out.
great. So, guys, if so far you're still stuck here, and fantastic insights coming from an army officer's wife, please subscribe, like, share, and most importantly, press the subscribe button so that more people will also get to know such things. And we'll continue.